He was very beautiful. He was physically a very beautiful person. He was the most beautiful of men. Everything was balanced with the Prophet.
So Sayyidina Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he describes the Prophet sallallahu he was not extremely tall, nor was he short. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu in the hadith in Tirmidhi, nor was he really short sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In the society of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you had people who were taweel al-ba'in, and people who were exceedingly tall, people who were in excess of 8 foot in height, approaching 9 foot in height, like the likes of Sayyidina Ubadah ibn Samit, the Sahaba, like the likes of Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, the Sahaba, like the likes of Sayyidina Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, the Sahaba, like the example of Sayyidina Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, the Sahaba, like the likes of Abu Jahl, the enemy of the Prophet ﷺ. These were people who were called mukhattatun, that if they sat upon a camel or upon a horse, their feet touched the ground. And when they would send the beast, then the feet would draw mukhattat, that's what they call mukhattatun. They would draw lines in the sand. Our Prophet ﷺ is described by Ali bin Abi Talib, by Hind bin Abi Hala, as rab'a or marbu'an. Rab'a is 4. So he's min rijal al-rab'a. He's from the men who are 4 in terms of height. And 4 in terms of height, meaning 4 arms lengths. Umar ibn al-Khattab and those are called rijal al-sudus. They're the men of 6. Okay, so Umar ibn al-Khattab, is like 50% taller than the Prophet ﷺ. Our Prophet ﷺ, what is he in our day and age? What's his height? He's just above 6'3" in height. The Prophet ﷺ, which, as we said, is perfection of height. And Malcolm Gladwell, in his work which is called Outliers, when he studied those extraordinary figures in terms of human history and in contemporary society, and when he looked at Fortune 100 leaders, those who lead Fortune 100 companies, he said every single one of them is over 6 foot in height. Every one of them. And then the majority of them, is like 70% of them, 6'3" in height. For him it may be random, but for us it's prophetic. And the reason they give leadership over the companies that dominate planet Earth is because they have a sifa min sifat al-Rasul. Because they have an attribute from the attributes of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Height is atwal, height is always associated with leadership. And that's what the ulama make mention about why the Prophet ﷺ, he was taller than average, 6'3" in height, but the Prophet ﷺ would never walk alongside anybody. ما ماشى أحدا ولا جالس أحدا وهو أطول منه. No, he never walked alongside somebody who was taller than him, or he sat alongside somebody who was taller than him, save that the Prophet ﷺ would appear to be taller than them. And so you see the hadith in Sahih Muslim where the Prophet is walking hand in hand with Umar ibn al-Khattab. If you could see them walking hand in hand, the Prophet ﷺ, who is 6'3", and Umar ibn al-Khattab is approaching 9 foot in height, the Prophet is taller than Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab. That's from his miracles. Because that's leadership granted to the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, and it's important, that's the first description Anas gives of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's the first description Imam al-Tirmidhi in his opus gives of the Rasul, the height of the Messenger of Allah.
He had a very, very beautiful complexion. They said it was like the moon, color that's not white, it's off-white, it's like a wheat color.
The Prophet ﷺ is not Adam in color, nor is he Abyad al-Amhaq in color. He two extremes. Adam as a color is dark-skinned. Abyad al-Amhaq is like extremely sort of fair and white. The Prophet ﷺ is not either or. But the Prophet ﷺ tends towards Udma. Udma, the way Adam, is the color of his companions. So you look at the companions of the Rasul, like Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, described Ibn Hajar, Shadid al-Udma, extremely Adam. You look for the colors of the companions, they're described as Adam. But the Rasul did not have the complexion of his companions. He was fairer than them in complexion. Mushawwash bil humra, it means he's fairer in complexion than the context of his society, because everything is contextual. Of the tabi'een who comes to Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas Yazid, he said he saw the Prophet ﷺ in the dream state. He's never seen the Rasul, he's tabi'een. Okay, he sees the companions, but he doesn't see the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. And so he asked Sayyidina, he says to Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Rasul, who saw the Rasul ﷺ, he says to him, I saw the Prophet ﷺ in the dream state. And Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Sif al-rajul alladhi ra'ayta. Describe to me the man that you saw. And he begins to describe who we saw in the dream state. From the things that he says, that he was asmar yameen il al-abyad. That's the word he used. That he was dark-skinned who tend towards being fair. That's the exact description he gave. Sayyidina Yazid radiallahu anhu warda. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas says, "Lo ra'aytahu." Had you seen him, you would not be able to describe him more perfectly than that. Okay, so that's the second thing Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu warda brings. That's perfection in terms of complexion. So everybody in Jannah, that's what we're stressing at this point, has the complexion of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then everybody has the khuluq, the character of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And that's the greatest thing you could ever be given, is to have the character of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
He had beautiful hair. He had very wavy black hair. It wasn't curly, it wasn't straight, because everything about him is balanced. So even his hair was balanced. It wasn't straight and it wasn't curly. The extremes. Those are two extremes of hair. You have curly hair, you have straight hair. His was right in the middle of those two extremes. You had wavy hair, parted in the middle. It went sometimes to the bottom of the earlobe, sometimes to his shoulders.
The third thing he gives us is that his hair was not ja'ad al-qatat, and ja'ad al-qatat means tightly curled hair. So the Prophet ﷺ never had tightly curled hair like we'd call maybe sub-Saharan hair. He never had that type of hair, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nor did he have like Northern European hair, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sept means lank or straight. So then what was his hair? And that's just negates the both. Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib gives us the clarification in Tirmidhi that his hair was ja'ad. Ja'ad means he had curly hair. His hair was naturally curly, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which is the reason why the Prophet would always carry two combs with him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Of the combs that he would carry, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one is called the midra. And the second comb he would carry is called the mush. Now as for the midra is what we would call like a pick. So he has this type of pick which he uses to untangle his hairs, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's called the midra. Two combs with him at all times, whether he's in Medina, whether he's traveling beyond Medina. The second is the mush. When he's untangled his hair, he takes the mush, which is like more so like a brush, or more maybe a conventional comb, and then he would comb his hair, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, till after he'd finished grooming his hair would be like waves, which came down to his shoulders, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Even in his hair, the Prophet is over and beyond all the Prophets. Kana rajila. The Prophet ﷺ's hair was always well groomed. In another tradition, another reading of the hadith, Kana rajulan. That the Prophet ﷺ was a man. That's the words of Aisha. That the Prophet brought a juz, they brought an aspect of the Prophet ﷺ. And in reality, there's an aspect of his hair. And that's why his hair is gem. His hair was not only long, but his hair was thick. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, very thick. And he never cuts that beautiful hair, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say 4 times in his entire life. When you gaze upon the face of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what you see is perfectly arched eyebrows. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, upon that blessed face. That blessed face which abstractly is large. Dakhma ras, in the hadith of Sayyidina Hind, that he has a larger head, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. That's when you look at it abstractly without looking at his form, the rest of his bodily form. But when you see his head in relation to his bodily form, mu'tadil al-khalq, the ways of Sayyidina Hind, that he was perfectly symmetrical. His form was perfectly balanced. When you're gazing at everything that relates to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as Sayyidina Hind said, in a beautiful and perfect way in the language of the Arabs, he is perfect in terms of his proportions. And his mouth is perfect. His mouth in relation to his nose is perfect. His nose in relation to his eyes is perfect. His eyes to each other are perfect. His body is perfect, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Everything's perfect about the Rasul. His foot size is perfect. And from the beauties of it, I mean, subhanAllah, go home and try it. And see if Allah Ta'ala has given you the proportionality of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Many people have it. Yeah, if you take your hand like that, and it's the length of his sandal, and you put 2 fingers, that's the length of his sandal, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then if you took the bottom part of his sandal, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you put what? 7 fingers. Then you go to the midst of it, and you reduce it to 5. And you go to the top of it, and you reduce it, and you increase it to 6. They're the proportions of the sandal of the Rasul. Draw it yourself with your own hand. Then put your foot upon it. And if your foot matches, alhamdulillah, that you now have a portion of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in that regard. In what regard? That your feet are proportional to your hands. Beautiful eyes, long eyelashes, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His eyes were big in nature. And the pupils and the cornea were extremely dark, extremely black, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the eyeballs were extremely white. It's called ad-da'aj. White eyeballs with extremely black contrasting pupils and cornea. The tips of his eyes here were oriental in nature. That is the glory of the Far Eastern people. Those in the lands of China, those in the lands of what? Of Japan, that they have elements of the actual perfect form of the Prophet ﷺ. He had a perfectly aquiline nose, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A very long mouth, dali' al-fam. His mouth was long, so that when he smiled, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, full smile, you could see all of his teeth. He had a very, very full beard. When he held it like that, you wouldn't see hair manifest here, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What's called one qabda. Although here, his beard thins out. Then when you get to the form of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, bigger, larger in form, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now if you see the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the first thing you're going to say, I'm looking at a big man, a very big and muscular man, broad shoulders, and all of his major joints, like here, were bigger joints, very big hands, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, big knees, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, big ankle bones, very muscular in disposition, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To the day he died, he didn't have any fat content upon him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They commented about it, that the stomach of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was flat upon death, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hani, when she gazed at the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, said he had a six-pack, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as we call it nowadays, six-pack.
Those are all qualities that if you study them, it actually makes you want to see him. I want to see that. I want to experience that.